Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this devotional time with me, David Fullen, pastor of the Drakesboro United Methodist Church and the Yeargins Chapel United Methodist Church. I welcome you in the name of the Lord and would like to begin with yesterday's prayer. Lord, be my light and my salvation today, this week, and forever. Amen. Our devotional today is the one for week 2, Monday, and it is Luke 7, 1 through 17. The focused portion is Luke 7, 11 to 17, which is what I'll be reading from the translation of our author, Tom Wright. Not long afterwards, Jesus went to a town called Nain. His disciples went with him, and so did a large crowd. As he got near to the gate of the city, a young man was being carried out dead. He was the only son of his mother, and she was a widow. There was a substantial crowd of the townspeople with her. When the master saw her, he was very sorry for her. "Don't cry," he said to her. Then he went up and touched the bier, and the people carrying it stood still. "Young fellow," he said, "I'm telling you, get up." The dead man sat up and began to speak, and he gave him to his mother. Terror came over all of them. They praised God. "A great prophet has risen among us," they said. "God has visited his people." This report went out about him in the whole of Judea and the surrounding countryside. May God add his blessing to the reading of his word. Amen. Here are some of the thoughts of Tom Wright for us today. How good are you at wailing? In many countries in the world to this day, people attend funerals, especially the women, are expected to weep and wail and make as much noise as they can. Wow. Let me start that again. In many countries in the world, to this day, people attending funerals, especially the women, are expected to weep and wail and make as much noise as they can. Most people in the West don't do that kind of mourning. But supposing you're there in the crowd that day at Nain. The dead man was the last best hope of his mother. In the days before Social Security benefits and before most women could earn a living wage all by themselves, a widow depended on her son to look after her. And now he's gone. The whole village has turned out to grieve with her, to help her express in that heart-rending fashion the sorrow and fear that now seem to wrap themselves round her and cling to her like a cold, wet cloak. Are you walking slowly along to the burial place outside the city? You're aware of a change in the mood over the other side of the crowd. It's that prophet and his followers, the ones who've been going around saying that it's time for God to become king. Not sure we want folk like that around here, and this is hardly the moment for a political rally. But what's he doing? He's coming up to the dead man. What's he going to do now? He should know you can't touch dead bodies. It'll make him unclean. Surely he knows that. And then it happens. Jesus doesn't just touch the dead man. He speaks to him, tells him in no uncertain terms to get up, like a parent telling a sulky child it's time to wake up and get off to school. What does he think he's doing? And then terror, amazement, fear tingles down the spine. The funeral wailing stops in its tracks and changes to the sort of celebration noises people make at a wedding. He's alive. He's getting up. Jesus is smiling and laughing and handing him to his mother. She can't believe it. She doesn't know whether to laugh or cry or faint. She just hugs her son and then hugs Jesus, and it's laughter and hugs all around while the procession disperses with more of a buzz than 50 beehives put together. What's happening? God has come to rescue his people. God has raised up a prophet. It's all true. God is becoming king. But then Jesus, making his way back through the crowd, stops beside you. You half wanted this, but were half afraid of it too. What's he going to say? Today, pause and think and listen. He has a particular word for you today. You can turn away if you like and pretend he isn't talking to you, but you might be far better listening to what he says. Then think and pray about what it means for his life-giving kingdom to come into your village, your family, your life. We have no prayer today, but we certainly have a lot to think about. Pause and think and listen. I pray that God will make himself known to you, that he will share his particular word for you today. Think and listen. Amen.